Give us your perfect first date.
First of all, my man needs to make at least 7 figures.
How much money should your guy make?
Over $500,000.
Where are the real men at? I'm sick of it.
That's why I don't like men who know their worth. Like, I hate y'all.
Men saying, I've just decided altogether to avoid women, that it's better to be single, guys.
There's talk about how men are not obsessed with women anymore.
Said that you effed a whole platoon.
Oh, yeah.
How many dudes did you sleep with?
Probably at that time, like 20.
The whole platoon.
It was a lot.
When I was 16, I got 3 trains ran on me in 1 week.
If you're a single girl out here in these streets and you're thinking, am I crazy? Or are these guys not even wanting to date and hook up, let alone get married?
Am I the problem?
Are we why these men don't want to get married?
We got to go here, guys. This one's from Real Alex Clark. She talks about why Gen Z and millennials are no longer dating. Let's get into it.
I have good news and bad news. The good news is you're not crazy. The bad news is it's worse than you thought. The very minuscule amount of kingpin level good men, the ones that are actually husband material, are almost certainly already married, about to be, or here's your very grim reality check, rotting away to near extinction.
There goes our last mail.
Oh my God, I hate Alex Clark. She's so dramatic.
Am I?
Is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I am.
Turns out the large majority of men 18 to 30 years old are single by choice. You're not crazy after all. Don't.
The issue is hypergamy, right? These women don't want to be with guys that's on their level. So if a woman's a 4 out of 10 in looks or her sexual market value, she doesn't want to be with a guy who's a 4 out of 10. Women always want, to get with a guy who's 2 to 3 to 4 notches above their own level, right? Because they want to survive, because they want a better life, because they want a certain lifestyle. This is why it's leaving a whole bunch of men, single. A lot of guys just don't really care about dating, right? They're tired of paying. They're tired of, going through the motions. They're tired of women want to be chased, all this stuff, man. There's a lot that's going wrong with dating. Social media has a big impact on that. These women, they think that they're God's gift to mankind, that you should worship them, that you should put them on a pedestal. Like it's almost like having a second job when it comes to dating and being in a relationship. These women, they basically want sponsors. They have their hands out. If you don't pay for them, they don't want to deal with you. So why should a man want to take part in dating and be in a relationship, let alone married? We're not even getting to the court system yet. How it's biased against men and fathers.
Believe me, a new Pew Research study found that 63% of men don't want to pursue any sort of relationship with women. That means serious or casual. They literally feel no motivation to leave their house, period. You know things are bad when guys think a booty call is too much work. The evidence points to some very specific problems. I've seen multiple conservative commentators speculate about what they think is the root of this shift, and no surprise, they're wrong. Let me tell you something about 99% of female commentators on the right who talk about dating, culture, and relationships. Hardly any of them have had significant real-world experience with dating, culture, and relationships. They think they're too highbrow for dating apps.
We're disgusting, and I hate you.
They marry the first or second guy they've made eye contact with, and their understanding on what it's actually like out here is, hate to say it, no I don't, derived from trad wife Twitter accounts secretly run by gay men trying to catfish straight ones.
I'll say this, right? Women who are more conservative, if you dealt with them, they typically are about business, which means they're like, hey, I'm looking to settle down. I'm looking to, date with a purpose. They're not really about the left's politics. They're about family for the most part. And the women on the left, they're like, hey, I want to, do whatever I want. I want to be strong and independent. I can settle down whenever I want to. I don't need no man. So that's what's going on with the right and left women. The right women, for the most part, they're like, hey, I want to be traditional. I want you to be the head of the household. The women on the left, they're like, hey, man, we're partners in this. No. And men don't want to feel like a partner. Matter of fact, women aren't even attracted to men who they view on their level. So this is what's going on when it comes to the right and left.
I know why men have lost all incentive to pursue any type of companionship with anyone with a heartbeat. And I think we should all be very perturbed about what this means for future generations. And
you know what it means? Less money. That's what it really means. You got a 63% of men who are like, I ain't dealing with women, I ain't dating, I ain't being in a relationship, I'm not getting married. That's a lot of money. See, they don't want to talk about that. That's a ton of money that's not going to modern women.
no, the answer is a lot more layered than just porn is bad. Today, women are smarter, we're graduating college at higher rates than guys, and I know women
with useless degrees. They don't want to tell you that women, a lot of times, they get these degrees and then they end up being a barista at Starbucks.
Don't like to admit it, but we are, by and large, making more money.
Okay, I'm sorry.
They love to tell that lie. That's not even true. Men are overall are making more money. It might be a few women, but it's not like an overwhelming majority. Most women, they're not even, good spenders. They don't save money like that. So this is why they want to be in a relationship, because they want to spend the man's money. They want the man to take care of the bills and the mortgage and all these the heavy lifting. They want to spend their money on what they want to spend it on. Makeup, girls' trips, girls' nights out, the little things around the house, silly stuff like that.
We spent half a century telling men that the future was female and that women allegedly didn't need to rely on men for anything.
We couldn't have credit cards, couldn't own property, couldn't vote, had no voice. Well, of course we'd partner up with a man because we needed one so that we didn't starve to death. We don't need men. So if it comes to being in a relationship, it's a matter of bringing something to the table. And if what you're bringing to the table is a toddler-like mentality where you are expecting a mommy and expecting some kind of subordinate, concubine kind of setup, no woman wants that.
Naturally, men started to harbor this sense of hopelessness where it felt like, I'm never going to be able to meet women's increasingly high standards and expectations anyway. So the first shoe to drop was men thinking it's acceptable to get complacent. If women are doing all this work, why should I? Now, for a little while, that was fun for the men because we're climbing the ladder ourselves. We're screaming, we can do bad all by myself.
You have a problem with that?
No, I just my grandmother's 90th birthday, so I was gonna go home and it's fine, I'll cancel.
So the men are like, okay, bet. They begin to lose that motivation to achieve and be a provider for a purpose bigger than themselves.
That's not true, right? Men just don't want masculine women. See, the issue is women get these degrees, right? They go to work, they get their little job, they make a little bit of money, and then women have these big egos. Men are not attracted to women who are super ambitious, right? Men are not, they don't get turned on by women who have a degree. We get turned on by women who have an apron on, right? Who are fit, feminine, and friendly, who are kind, who are nurturing. That's what us men desire. So a big reason why men are not dating these alpha females, as they say, these women who are overachievers, is because we don't want to deal with a woman who is combative. Women who start to achieve certain little things, they start to throw it in your face. I'm quite sure you guys have done women like that, right? They're too opinionated. We don't like that. Men who are dominant men who are leaders, we don't want to go out and work and then come home to a woman who's hyper masculine, who's trying to compete with us.
Why are you single? I have kind of given up on trying to put in the effort.
A man's instinct to be a hero and to achieve is tied directly to how men show their love. Since the beginning of time, men have hunted and women were the gatherers and helpers. We switched this up as women and insisted that we can hunt instead, leaving men feeling confused and purposeless. In an act that drives men further into disorientation, women have chosen to blur the line between masculine and feminine energies. Recognizing the different roles men and women were biologically hardwired to play does not mean that women must surrender our equality. It just means that men are motivated by the opportunity to show themselves as competitive, daring, adventurous, courageous in achieving. But we have made them feel like these traits are no longer valued because women have chosen to demonstrate those traits ourselves. Instead, women should be secure enough to both praise men for these traits while knowing how to soften into our true feminine essence, which creates balance and peace needed for a healthy relationship. Women should embrace our traditionally feminine traits that can perfectly complement those of men. Nurturance, sensitivity, sweetness, supportiveness, gentleness, warmth, expressiveness, empathy, affection, and tenderness. I'd like to think that I'm a fair and nuanced person. I believe that I am capable of seeing both sides in pretty much anything. And another cultural thorn that women need to take some responsibility for is that we've decided as a gender that personal development is apparently a non-issue. Most of us have a God complex that is being fueled by toxic therapy culture, which is ironically making us worse, not better. Young women have been brainwashed into thinking that we're perfect exactly the way we are, no matter how fat, lazy, mentally ill that could be.
You'll feel it soon.
I won't. I told you, okay? Endorphins don't work on me. And anything that's ever promised you a runner's high is full of
It has propelled the sin of self-obsession and created a barrier preventing us from considering any other possibility other than they want to hurt me, they're out to get me. Anyone that attempts to hold us to a higher standard is toxic and emotionally abusive. You're not my supervisor! The glorification of hyper-selfishness propagandized us into the belief that every last one of us is a 9 or 10.
Ask the ladies to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10.
10.
I'd say I'm a 10.
10.
Come on, man. And that's what I'm talking about. You got these average, everyday, basic women who think that they're 9s and 10s. So they're automatically going to come to you think that they're better than you. This is why a lot of guys like, I'm not dating. I ain't getting no relationship, man. Because the egos, right? It's the you go girl mindset. It's the I'm better than every man. Why would a man want to deal with a woman like that?
10.
Don't you guys think it's a bit delusional to...
Come on. The chick a 10, maybe a 10-piece chicken
rate
nugget,
yourself
but
as a 10. So y'all are perfect.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah. Bruv, come on.
Every girl is a 10.
I don't.
Every woman's a 10? Is every guy a 10?
No.
Absolutely.
she gonna say, look at that chick. Come on, man. None of these chicks are 7s, 8s, 9s, or 10s. Let's just be real. All of them are 5s and 6s, except the chick on. If you let's rate it. The chick on the left, far left. What would you give her? I'll give her a 2. The second chick to the far next to her, I'll give her a 4. Chick in the middle, 4. The next chick, I'll give her a solid 6. Chick on the far right, I'll give her a solid 5. Let's just be real.
Hold on. Whoa.
The lie is so pervasive that we not only lie to ourselves, we lie to each other.
You are physically flawless.
Because of all this lying, we only entertain interest from men who are 9s or 10s. But realistically, we're likely only 6s and 7s ourselves. And ladies, you know I'm right.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna rate you guys, but none of you are a 10.
Women are operating in such a high level of delusion that we'll refuse to date our own level or lower while simultaneously strong-arming men into dating down, something that we're not even willing to do ourselves.
If you want a boyfriend, you have to drop your standard. You have to settle to be in a relationship. You have to settle for something less.
I don't think it's settling, though, because what's going on is you have average women that don't want to date average men.
We project and accuse men of being superficial, but modern women are the most superficial beings to ever exist.
Men are so superficial.
Would you date a guy that's shorter than you?
Absolutely not.
What has happened is women have cut out 98% of the potential dating pool and convinced themselves that they're cool sharing the top 2% of men because we'd rather perpetually be in the talking stage with a 10 than having a meaningful, fulfilling, and monogamous relationship with a 7.
Exactly. Women, see, I personally believe this. If a woman's a 6 and she gets with a guy as a 6, it's a reflection of her. So women want to, if she's a 6, she wants to be with a guy who's a 9 or 10 because people are going to say, oh man, you pulled that guy, you got that guy. That's why all these chicks are getting smashed and ran through by dudes in the top 5 to 10%. All of them, right? And I'll be honest, a dude who's a 9 or a 10, oftentimes he's smashing chicks who are 4, 5s, and 6 and 7. Let's be real, because he's like, man, I'm that's our mating strategy to hook up with a lot of different chicks to have variety. Women's mating strategy is to mate and get with the guy who's the top 10%, to top 5, 10%, that elite guy. So of course they're not going to settle for a guy that's on their level. A woman who's overweight does not want to be with a man who's overweight. A woman who's broke, who don't even make $100,000, she wants to be with a guy who makes $300,000-$400,000. It's backwards. It's insane. It doesn't make any sense.
If you can't accurately assess, here's how attractive I actually am, you're going to keep chasing after men that they're going to have an accurate assessment of what you look like, and they're going to say, I'll hook up with this girl, I'm never going to commit to her, I'll keep her along and keep her, I'll never give her commitment.
According to Tinder data, while men swipe right on 40% of women on average, this number is only 7% for women. No wonder men feel like dating is completely pointless. For the guys left barely hanging on, it feels nothing short of fatalistic. If a guy tries to embrace his masculinity and show chivalry, it's deemed toxic at best, sexual harassment at worst.
Excuse me, ma'am. I've been in a terrible car accident. My legs are pinned under the car, and I can't reach to get my phone. Can you please get some help?
Are you serious? I have a boyfriend.
And it gets bleaker because men today are financially incentivized to not pursue marriage.
Are you single?
Actually, yes.
Why are you single?
Because it's expensive.
But he's right.
Women are 70% more likely to initiate divorce, according to the American Sociological Association. Men know if they choose the wrong woman, it will end in divorce.
Here's the thing, you can even choose the right woman. She can be religious, she can have both parents growing up, she could be from a little rural town in the Midwest, and guess what? Because the state incentivizes women. The government says, if you leave that man, you can get alimony. If you leave that man, you can take the kids and you can get the money and you can get the house. She's going to leave you high and dry and she's going to take that deal. So men are like, I'm done, man. What's the point of getting married for you don't just leave me? I could just stay single. We can hook up. You can be my live-in girlfriend at best. And we can keep it like that. Right? Let's just smash and keep it moving, because men have gotten smarter. Ask yourself this. Would you as a man get in an airplane that only had a 30% chance of surviving and it had a 70% chance of crashing? No, you wouldn't. You'd be like, man, I ain't doing this, man. I'm not about to die. That same thing goes to marriage. Women are divorcing men at a high clip. And oftentimes it's because I'm just not happy. There are good men. There are good husbands. There are good fathers out here who are doing whatever they're supposed to do. But these chicks say, well, I'm just not happy anymore. I just don't feel like it. I want to do something new. And you've seen all the videos. They end up regretting their decision. They end up being out there in the streets, back on the dating scene, at 45, 50, 60 years old, just getting pumped and dumped and ran through.
And the research shows that she will be the one to benefit, not him. While both spouses lose, men typically suffer a larger hit because of child support and alimony. Men are looking at this and weighing the risks, and the unfortunate reality for women is that instead of seeing these statistics and thinking, okay, true love in a family is a pro that outweighs the con, they opt out of the equation entirely. Men are more willing to put up with loneliness because in their mind, they'll still get to keep their money and dignity. Plus, thanks to the pandemic, they have learned that they can also get all of their sexual and self-esteem needs met without leaving their couch. Confidence is boosted through comments, likes, and retweets on social media. Sexual needs are met through pornography. Why would men feel motivated to go to bars, for example, to spend their money on drinks for women who may or may not even be interested?
There's a lot of bars in New York City. You go up to someone in a bar, they're like, why are you talking to me?
You can cut to the chase with pornography, and many men took advantage of the opportunity in lockdown. Fast forward 2 years later, the habit has been formed, and the men are drastically different. The false identity of women and the increasing apathy of men, to say the least, is literally adding up to human extinction at this point. Gen Z and young millennials are just not getting married. We are living through a serious crisis. The eligible bachelors are buying pretend land in the metaverse and subscribing to the OnlyFans of the girl next door. They aren't building a house or a life beyond the digital landscape because we've done a horrible job as women making commitment and marriage look like a worthwhile risk.
And for the most part, it's not. As sad as it is, a lot of men say, I'm checked out. I'm done. So many horror stories of women taking their kids away, falsely accusing them of stuff, taking a house, taking a dog. Just, man, listen, it's not a fun thing. It's a terrible thing to go through for a man when a woman leaves him, when she decides to divorce him, because she's going to take everything. She's going to make sure that he's seen as the worst person on earth in front of that judge. Why would a man want to deal with any of that? We're not even talking about just being in the marriage, right? And it being sexless, and the guy not getting any sort of physical intimacy or any sort of affection. So he's going out, he's working hard, he's paying the bills, he's doing everything he has to do to provide for her, and she just sees him as a disgusting guy. You're a pig. You're why? Tell me why it doesn't make any sense. Now, I'm not saying this happens in every marriage, in every situation, but for the most part, it does. Men are sexless.
Unfortunately, I don't have a feel-good solution for you. I personally think Gen Z and younger millennial men may be a lost cause, but something we can do is instill better self-worth in the men of Gen Alpha. That's the generation that comes after Gen Z. Because if not, this will be the end. We are already at 63% of men under 30 who have just left the dating market. If we don't change course now, that statistic will reach 100% in no time.